Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar organized by the Office of the Bishop of the Metropolitan New York Synod. But before we start, I'm going to ask Bishop Eggensteiner if you can start your video. Thank you, Bishop. And if you don't mind offering a prayer before we start this webinar.
I would be happy to. Before I do that, let me just express my thanks to Roberto for not only initiating the Microsites webinar, but the idea of microsites for the sake of our congregations to begin with. I'm really grateful for Roberto's creativity and his passion for the work that we are called to do. And so we are all reaping the benefits of that tonight. So I'm really grateful to Roberto and his team for initiating this and for the results that we'll see from that. So having said that, and thank you to all of you for being here and for your interest in this, let us pray. Gracious God, we give you thanks. You have entrusted the treasure of the good news of Jesus the Christ into our hands, into our hearts, into our minds, into our bodies. Help us to retain our sense of wonder and amazement at the trust you place in us by sharing the work of the gospel with us, and then continue to move us from wonder and amazement to gratitude and then to action, that we might continue to share your good news with the world, that we too might be transformed by this good news. And help us to use our own imagination and creativity and to learn together the new ways that you give us to continue to share this gospel and to be a transformative presence, especially through the presence that we would have together online as we are your church out in the world in so many ways. Help us to be committed to being church together and to be those who are your followers, who bring light into the world in as many ways as you give us that opportunity. Bless us now as we learn, as we grow, and as we understand more about your call to us. For we pray all this in the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Bishop.
Welcome.
Okay, so let me share my screen. And before we start, just a couple of notes. So number one, we are not going to be using the Q&A feature that you can see on your menu Zoom options. We're going to be using the chat. So Claire Massa, who is part of our team here at the Office of the Bishop, is going to be trying to answer some questions in the chat as well. So if you have any questions, please just add it to the chat. At the end of this presentation, we're going to have a quick Q&A session. So any questions that you might have, please add them to the chat, not to the Q&A feature. And I think that's it. So let's get started. So the agenda for today, we just have the opening prayer. We're going to be going over the Microsites project team. We're going to share why we're doing this effort, why we believe it's important, and why we believe it's the best option for your congregation with the objectives and benefits. We're going to describe the strategy, share the templates. That's the fun part of this presentation, share the templates of these microsites, and just share next steps in case you want to get involved. So the team, I'll be leading the strategy. Some of you know me. My name is Roberto Lara. I'm the assistant to the Bishop for Communications and Development. And working very closely with me, we have Claire Massa. Some of you, I'm sure you remember Claire from past events, synodical events. A wonderful person to have on our team. I'll be working very close to Claire during this project. A person that you're gonna meet pretty soon, and you're gonna be working very closely with him, is Alejandro Ulloa. Alejandro Ulloa will be the project manager of this project. He's gonna be the liaison between the MNYS team, our pastors, and the developers who are working in collaboration with our Synod to build this microsite solution. Alejandro is also going to be the person in charge of training pastors and congregational leaders in how to build and publish content on these microsites, and he'll be the person that is going to build the microsite at the beginning. So he's going to help pastors create beautiful microsites, and then he's going to train the pastors in how to develop and publish content, and then pastors will have full authority to keep updating content moving forward. So objectives, why is this an important project? So one of the objectives is create content based on SEO best practices to gain visibility in Google search results. So SEO stands for search engine optimization. And what that means is when you go to Google and you look for Lutheran Church in Astoria, you want your church to be showing up as the first result. Unfortunately, there's a number of considerations that Google is exploring before allowing a page to be shown as the #1. That is called SEO best practices. So this microsite solution will allow you to have a website, a fully independent website that Google is recognized as a great experience for its users with a lot of content, and that's why it's gonna show it at the top of the search results. So it's really important for us. With that, we're gonna gain a lot of visibility. Remember that all these searchers represent potential new members for our congregation. So we want to make sure that these potential new members have a really easy journey from Google to the actual physical doors of our congregations. This will also create a network for all our congregations, and it's gonna connect synodical efforts to a congregational level, which is also very important. And one of our themes, we are church together. Why is this necessary? Well, I think if we learned something during the COVID-19 crisis is that digital communication for our churches is a very important form of evangelism. Digital communications have become our primary mode of communication. This is here to stay. We have seen many congregations successfully navigated the crisis, and attendance increased, and even mission support increased. So it's another channel that we really need to take into consideration. But the first door to any digital channel, to any digital presence for our congregations is a very robust, strong, and beautiful website. Also, a lot of people are interested in attending digital services, and our websites are the best channel to start promoting that. Also, we are church together, as I mentioned, so we're going to create a network with all our congregations. It's going to be very easy to stay connected, and the consumer journey, the way the people go from Google to our congregations, will be much better, a lot easier. And a healthy website represents a healthy congregation. So we don't want people to go to websites that don't necessarily seem up to date and stop going to the actual shore because the website looks outdated or old. We really want them to see a beautiful website and get actually excited about visiting the church in person. We also saw in past years before COVID, especially in summer, every time that we had advocacy efforts, a huge increase of new visits and traffic to Find a Church page. So based on that, we decided to optimize our page. So people now in our Find a Church page called website, they have the ability to be very specific. If they are looking for a congregation that has services in Spanish, but is also a Reconciling in Christ congregation, they can find that. So it goes beyond location. If location is the only thing that they care about, they can find a congregation very close to them. But if they are also looking for other specific ministries that they are interested in, they can also find the best fit for them as a congregation. So the microsites is a way to further advance our Find a Church initiatives and our evangelism initiatives from a synodical level to a congregational level. So what is a microsite, right? So basically a microsite is an independent and interconnected websites that are, from the infrastructure perspective, they are living within MNYS.org. But from a consumer perspective, they look completely independent, and each congregation will have complete ability to make any changes to the content of their website. We won't be involved in content creation or content publication just at the beginning when we are building the microsite, but then after that, each congregation will be, congregational microsite will be completely independent. In the backend, in the infrastructure, all of them are gonna be interconnected, and that is why Google will recognize all those microsites and our synodical website as a really robust and complete experience. We are gonna make sure, especially at the beginning, to always use a copy that has been optimized for Google search. The functionality and the design is gonna be very attractive and very user-friendly. It's also gonna be responsive, meaning that it's gonna look great on a desktop, on a mobile, on an iPad, in any kind of device. And the navigation is gonna be very simple. So URLs, let's talk about URLs. So all the congregational microsites are gonna be living under MNYS.org. So let's just say that you are a member of Trinity Manhattan. Your URL will look something similar to trinitymanhattan.mnys.org. Then when you type that, you're gonna be driven to this independent microsite. So all the modules, as I mentioned, like you have total control over the content, images, and copy in all your modules, all your videos, all the things that you need to incorporate that. We are gonna have only one module that will feature content from the Synod, especially events. This is a way to advance that networking of congregation and this way of being church together. And the good thing about this is you don't have to worry about the content in this particular module from our Synod. That module will be updated automatically. It will be featuring content from our Synod, especially events when we want our congregations to come together, perhaps Synod assembly deadlines, which are always very important. And you don't even have to do anything to have this content updated. It's gonna be living in the homepage only. And that we believe that's a really important module that reflects our theme of this year's assembly, We're Church Together. So let me start a new share. I want to show you the templates of the actual microsites. So what we are looking at right now is the homepage of the microsites. So what they did is they took the first congregation that was listed in our Final Church page. It starts with A, so Abiding Presence was the one congregation that they used for a mock-up of the designs. And they were using images from the actual page of that congregation. So this will be the first hero module. Again, you'll have the ability to change this hero image and to change the copy that you would like to feature in this hero module. As you can see, there are going to be 3 modules and they are going to be moving in a carousel. And you can have as many panels as you want to. We recommend to have from 3 to 5 in the hero image, and you can feature whatever event is coming up, an important pastoral letter from your pastor. You have the ability to, depending on your congregational needs, adjust this content. Worship times, you can see that you're going to have this very attractive, we call it module, but it's more like a panel. The times of your services, which is something that people is always looking for, and a full schedule and details of future events. You have a full module dedicated to news and events, and every time that you click on a news on event, you'll have the ability to go to a detail page. We'll go over those templates too. Coming up next, more events showing up. This is the module that I was talking about from our Synod. You don't have to worry about that one. And here you can be playful. You can show the ministry's offer from your congregation. You can feature partnerships from your congregation, perhaps leaders, maybe even prayers. This is more of a decorative module. And finally, we recommend perhaps in this last module, start sharing a little bit more from the pastor, maybe a pastoral letter, or maybe the mission statement or the vision statement of your congregation. Here we have the final module, something that people is always looking for. Subscribe to our emails. If you don't have an email program, we can also adjust this to be contact us panel. So this will be driving to an actual form, and then that message can be delivered to an actual email address, perhaps the pastor's email address or the parish administrator. So this is the homepage. We also have a mock-up of one of the internal landing pages. In this case, we decided to do the About Us page, which I believe is very important. Here you can be very playful with the content in the landing pages. There's a lot more flexibility. There are, I believe, 3 templates that we will offer from the beginning. But here you can really play with the content. You can move the images around. There are certain limitations, especially because when websites are responsive, depending on the device, you cannot be as playful as you can be in print materials. But still, you can move images around. You can change the size of the images. Obviously, how much copy do you want to feature on your page is up to you. So here, for instance, we have a brief description of the congregation, then a message from the pastor. In this case, we were featuring Pastor Shefflin. And then again, you'll have worship times coming up next, some of the modules that we were talking about, and some interesting illustrations that make the page a little bit more attractive. So this is our news page. Here is how all your news are going to be featured in that section on your site. The blog section, which I recommend using that for pastoral letters, is going to look pretty similar to this one. And also, I believe the events page is going to look pretty similar to this one. I want to also mention that obviously these images are coming from your church. We're also going to share a couple of websites that let you use images for free, and you don't have to worry about copyrights. But we are also creating a small library of what we call evergreen images, which you can use. They are created for you, so you can use those for free as well. Then if you click in, let's just say this news, right? You're gonna go to the details page of that particular news article. And here you'll have the image, you'll have more details about that. And you also have a couple of future events being featured. Then they're hoping that people might stay a little bit longer in our site and keep clicking. And I was mentioning from the homepage, this subscribe to our email modules that can be also a contact us form if you don't have an email module. And this will go to a form just like this one. And all of this you can change according to your needs, whatever you want to ask potential new members or your members to share in this form. And then when you click submit, this form will go to the person that you selected as the main contact person from your congregation. Okay, these are the mock-ups that we have ready. So going back to our presentation, let's talk about next steps. So a first step is to talk about cost, because I'm sure this is something that you will need to share with your parish council, with your congregation, and then make a decision based on that. So it's actually one time only, a startup fee of $500. And this will cover especially the human resources hours that will be allocated for your team to get trained and to actually build the beginning of your microsite, the main landing pages, the homepage, and events and blog. And we have an annual hosting fee that includes every issue that needs to be resolved by a developer. That's an annual fee of $100. And that will be it. Needless to say, I mean, I've seen those softwares that can build websites for lower prices. needless to say, the visibility of a new website is 0. Chances that that is going to be featuring Google search results in the first page are minimum. And please take in mind that 99 something % of all clicks on Google go to the first page. So nobody actually click to the following pages of results. So that's a benefit that you will get with this strategy that is crucial for evangelism efforts. And I think it's really great, and especially this price. You will never get a website solution of this caliber and sophistication for a price like that. Something just to take in consideration in case you want to share it with your console. And if you are interested, I know Claire is going to be publishing in the chat a link to a Google form. If you're interested, we're going to open the phase 1 of this project really, really soon, in just hopefully just a couple of weeks. We're just waiting for our developers to finish building the microsite solution so that we can start building and hosting microsites. It's gonna move really quickly during the fall. So if you are interested, please fill out this form. That's the way that you can let us know that you are interested, and we will contact you pretty soon to really start this project as soon as possible. So with that, I just want to say thank you so much, and let's open the space for questions. So, and thank you, Claire, because I see that you've been answering a lot of the questions. Thank you for that. I see something about if the webinar is going to be available. Let me stop the sharing of this. Okay. Yes, the webinar is going to be available. It's going to be included in our next email campaign, which I believe is in August 7. So that Saturday, you'll have our email including this information and a link to this video. We are not going to provide the PowerPoint in the email, but if you need a copy of this, and I'm going to add my email to the chat. So if you need a copy of the PDF, please send me an email and I can provide something for you in case you need to use that with your parish council. So recordings of weekly services. So we usually advise against uploading videos into websites because that then the uploaded time of the website is really slow, and that is just a terrible user experience. But you can embed videos on websites. So if you create a landing page featuring all the recorded, all the videos, including the live stream videos from YouTube or even Facebook, you can embed those links into the actual landing page, and then people can go to your page and enjoy the service. So thank you, Pastora Leticia, for that question. You are fully responsible for creating the content for your congregation, you or whoever is the person responsible of your website in your congregation. So if they speak Spanish and they want to create Spanish, absolutely, they can do that. Thank you for the comment about the price. Yes, it's actually way below the normal in this industry, especially for all the back end benefits that you'll receive for this. I see the form. Thank you. Thank you, Claire, for adding the link. So how difficult is to make changes and update the modules? Can you give us a view? I don't have access to the back end. We believe it's going to be very similar to the back end of the MNYS.org page. Let me see if I can. Actually, that is a really great point. I can, if you're interested in that, please let me know and I can give you access to not give you access, but share my screen and another time to the backend of our page. But it's pretty easy. It's easier than other softwares, but basically it's very user friendly. So you add the module of content, and then you decide if you want to upload an image. You can write the copy there, you can copy paste. There are a couple of rules that you need to follow, but once you learn the rules, it's actually pretty easy and pretty fast.
I want to mention that you will be trained. I just want to reiterate that you will be trained. You won't just be given this website and expected to figure it out. So that's part of this package.
Thank you, Claire. That's a really great point. And also, we are going to build the microsite for you once it's ready. And you're going to be trained during that process. When this is ready, then you're going to be responsible for that, but you'll have all the knowledge and even practice at that point. And again, we're going to be fully available in the future if you have any issues or questions. We cannot keep updating all your content because we just don't have the human resources to do that in the office of the bishop, but you'll have people to ask questions or help you with emergencies. So is there an editor for updating the pages? Yeah, that will be the back end. So I have about deadline August 19. No, I think August 19. I mean, we're gonna keep phase 1 open as long as we can, but obviously right at the beginning, we have a deadline to finish all this project by the end of this year. So, and that is related just with developers' time. They are a corporation, so they are not as forgiving as church. But yeah, it's not too late. August 19, as soon as you have approval from your council, please send me an email, Pastor, and I'll make sure to put you in contact with Alejandro. But if this is something that you believe that your council will approve soon, please go ahead and fill out that form. What is the way to add keywords? So to add files or images is very easy. You just upload those assets into a section in the backend that is called Asset Manager. But again, you're going to be trained in that. But it's actually like 3 clicks away after you access the backend. It's not really not difficult at all. And I already mentioned the embedding links from Facebook and YouTube. That's also a very easy thing to do. Oh, e-giving, that's a really great question. So we're gonna have, I don't know if you remember, but in the homepage, we have a donations call to action. And basically, if you click there and you already have an e-giving capabilities, we're just gonna add a link to your the software that you're using for that. If you don't have one, if you are receiving checks, then we're gonna create a landing page with all the instructions. So when you click into donate now or give a gift, this will be driving to the landing page with all the information. Please send checks to MNYS at 475 and the rest of the address. So what happens to our existing church website? That will be your decision and your congregation's decision to make. We can transfer the content, meaning we can move images and we can move copy from that website, but all the infrastructure will, and actually I will recommend to kill the website so that it's not competing with your new website. If the training is including written documentation, no, but it's including videos, I believe. The software editor, the software for the back end was developed for this company that we're using, so it's not one of the companies, but I think it's WordPress based, but doesn't look like WordPress. Is a lot easier to use. and technical requirements, you don't need any training to use this. Again, I'm sure like almost all solutions use WordPress. Apparently it's the easiest one to use. I found it very difficult, probably because I've been using the backend of our site, which obviously was created with clients in mind. So it's very, very user-friendly. And I think those are all the questions. Am I right in saying that, Claire?
Yes, we just have one last one about the deadline for submitting interest. Like when is the last moment people can submit interest?
So we don't have a deadline about that. If at some point we need to set up a deadline when we are going to finish phase 1, we'll let you know in our email program. We are going to have a phase 2, but you know, the crisis also economically affected the Synod. Right now, we have this, from the budget that was approved, we have this resources allocated for this effort. Obviously, I cannot guarantee that those resources will be available in our next fiscal year. So if you are interested, I think this is the moment to really create this microsite so that you can have it. Yeah, I don't think, thank you for that last question. I don't think, we don't see any increments happening anytime soon. So as soon as you're ready to start creating your microsite, you can pay the $100 for the hosting services, and then you're expecting to pay that amount until next year. Yeah. Question about the diaconate, I didn't see it. Claire, if you can help me with that one, I cannot find it.
I just put it as the most recent question, so you can see it.
Oh, thank you. I don't have information about that, George. Let me ask internally. I think right now we're opening this opportunity to our congregations only, but let me get that information for you. And Claire, can you add the link to the Google form again? So that
absolutely. Yeah. We have one other question about the adding a link to a Facebook page.
Yeah, super easy. So on your Facebook allows you to add whatever link you want to add, and usually one of the links, hopefully this is answering the question, one of the links that you can add is to your website. So when you create a Facebook page, make sure that you're creating a Facebook page for your congregation. You'll have the ability to add a link driving to your website, and then you can promote your website also in as a Facebook post. And Facebook also gives you the ability to advertise what is called search engine marketing. It's very easy, actually very intuitive. You can pay for ads on Facebook. The good thing about those ads is that they not only go to your audience, but they actually go to friends of your friends or friends of people following your page. So it's actually reaching out to new audiences, new potential members. So if you have an ad featuring your church, to advertise your congregation to new audiences. Okay, well, I think that's all. But thank you again, everyone, for being here with us. I know it's Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. We want to be done with our day, but this is a really exciting. Thank you, Pastor Leticia. I actually agree. I think that's a very exciting opportunity to fully embrace the digital evangelism, which we have been talking about for years, and this is a very concrete step moving forward into really reaching out to new audiences. So Thank you for being partners with us in this new effort. Thank you everyone who was here, Pastor Morello, Pastor Alanis, Pastor Romeo, everyone, thank you so much for this. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. I'll put everyone in contact with Alejandro as soon as possible. And yeah, this is exciting. And before I go, Claire, is anything else you want to add? Or
I think we really touched on all of it. And I can say to all of you, I really hope everyone takes advantage of this opportunity, because it's very exciting, and it could be very good for all of our congregations to really get the exposure that they deserve. So, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, again, thank you everyone, and hope to see you soon. Have a great night.